Can the universe have meaning without God?
Yes. Meaning is 42. Well, I mean, seriously, the concept of meaning is a very human, subjective, psychological, concept. And the universe itself has no meaning. I mean, what's the meaning of a planet, or what's the meaning of an atom or a molecule or some chemical? Nothing. It only means something if we infuse meaning into it, if we find meaning in our lives and our interactions with the natural world. So meaning is a very completely subjective human experience.
Something that we're imposing on reality as opposed to reality having it independent of us.
That's right, yeah. So I think people confuse the concept of meaning, what's the meaning of the universe, like it has some meaning. It's the wrong question. The question is where do we find meaning in our own lives, in interaction with other people, our society, our natural world, the universe? All those are different forms of different things to interact with, in which we can find meaning.
Let me tell you what I think about late at night, and maybe this is very pessimistic.
Wait, can you say this on camera? Because what I think about late at night. Okay.
But if the universe really doesn't have meaning, and I'm artificially imposing my meaning on it, I feel like the whole thing is artificial, and I'm fooling myself.
No, okay, not the fooling yourself part. Yes, it's artificial, but so what? Relationships with other people only have meaning when you make them meaningful. It's not like there's some outside force, meaning that you have to be with your spouse or in this social group or whatever. You make that meaningful. And not only is that not bad, it's good. It is what we do as people.
No, sure, that's our own existence, but let's look at the far future of the universe. Everything we now know indicates that the universe will continue its expansion, accelerating expansion, so that ultimately all dissipates and dissolves into random radiation. Where is our meaning in all of that?
Well, if that's true, which it sure looks like it's true, the universe has no absolute outside meaning other than what we give it. How much more meaningful does that make it for us to make it meaningful now, to make each and every moment count, to make every...
That sounds like rationalization to me. Are you trying to fool yourself? I mean, face it. If you're a theologian, I respect your view that you have some great outside understanding and meaning. But if you are a skeptic, which you are, and you recognize there's nothing happening, why don't you just face facts that there's no meaning and be honest?
I do. And that's what makes my life especially meaningful. In fact, I feel it's more meaningful now than when I was a believer, because I don't depend on some outside source to tell me what the meaning is. I make the meaning. And therefore, what I decide to do is even that much more important, because there is nobody that's going to keep track and keeping score in the end and tell us what it all means. We're doing it now. Yeah. So this has always bothered me. Like, if there's no outside source, it's meaningless. What, are you kidding? You mean you're just pretending until the next life? To me, that's a shallow way to live, compared to if this is all there is, now really counts what you do and what you think.
But it is a meaning that will evaporate and will become as if it never happened.
Yes, ultimately, that's right. But so what? We don't live in the far future of the universe. We live now. We're never going to know. I mean, whether you believe in God or not, no one knows for sure if there's an afterlife. If we knew for sure, we wouldn't have these great debates and shows like this and so on. Obviously, there's room for skepticism and doubt. And even the most devout believers doubt once in a while.
Sure.
It's part of the process of being human. So,
but do the most, the strongest atheists or people who think there's no meaning, do they also doubt once in a while? Do you doubt?
See, I don't think that atheists think there's no meaning. Again, whether there's meaning in the physical universe or not is a separate question from what meaning do we put into it. So I don't think there's any meaning to the physical world. I think all the meaning comes from us. And religious people also believe that we make things meaningful. So we're on the same page there. Let's just concentrate on that, because that's where the meaning comes from ourselves.
I'm not sure I'm on that page, but okay.
Well, where do you find your meaning? I mean, to me, it's just this pretend world to think that there's some outside force that gives it meaning.
I'm not saying that I believe in that. I'm saying that if there is no outside meaning, that any meaning that we bring to it is artificial, self-imposed, it's an artifact, and it disappears, so it will be as if it never happened.
Yeah, but that's like saying, because I can't prove that rights actually exist in nature, rights are meaningless and we shouldn't bother with having human rights. Baloney. We make rights meaningful by the social contract, by our agreements, by the fact that it's better to live your life with rights than without rights. Same thing with meaning. It's better to live a life with meaning than without, regardless of whether you can prove that it has an outside objective force or not. We give it meaning.